Well, alright, welcome to another FiddleHed fiddle lesson, everybody. Now we're going to do the tune Flop-Eared Mule. This is the second video I'm doing on this tune. The first was a bit easier technically. This one is a little bit harder. You're going to have to use your fourth a little bit more, especially on the E. You're going to have to stretch that up. And we're going to use raised third finger on the D. So if you're a beginner and you haven't done the tune yet, it might be a good idea to do the first video first. And I'll link that in the comments field below. Well, now I'm just going to play this version. Oh, and I'll just mention that if you have done that other one, the difference between this one and that one really is that in this one, the A part is played an octave higher and the B part an octave lower. And it's a cool trick called transposition. We're really not transposing to a different key, just a different octave. So that's a lot of talk. I'm just going to play the tune 2 A's, 2 B's. You ready? Here we go. B part. And we go back to the A there. Alright, so let's just get into it. Before starting, I recommend doing a G major scale 2 octaves. Recommend just pausing the video and practicing that, the G major scale. Now let's see, let's move on. Let's do the beginning. We'll start 4 on the E4 twice to open E. So 4-4, low 2, open E. I think that's kind of hard. So this a little thing may be worth practicing as a loop. Okay, let's move on. So by the way, we did that loop, I think, mainly for technical reasons. You can also loop things to kind of get it from memory, or to get work on your sound, or to eventually, after you know the tune, you can use looping to work out ideas like variation. All right, so that's followed by this piece. Let's break that down. We're going to go A3, 4, 3. You could use open E if that's easier for you. I think fourth on A is easier for me. So we go. And then low 2, 1, open. Alright, now I'm going to do the whole first quarter. So, if that was unclear, rewind and watch it. We're now gonna loop on the first quarter. It'll be worth your while to do this with me. If you don't quite have it, listen, because later, some of these ideas will be repeated. So if we get this really down now, then it'll make the rest of the tune easier. 3, 4. All right, good enough. Thanks for doing that. Now we're going to move on to the second quarter. I'll play the whole second quarter once. If you already did the first video, you might notice that the second quarter here is exactly the same as the way I do it in the first video. All right. Anyway, I'm going to break it down a little bit for those who haven't seen that one. It starts with open, 1, 2, 3, open on D, and it's just a D major scale going up. This is a good, this really shows why we do the scales, because the tunes are just full of them, all right? So if you're good at the scales, then it'll make it easy to pick up things like this in the tune. And then vice versa, seeing how these scales come up in tunes can make scales more interesting for you to practice. So anyway, and then after that we do A, low 2, 1 open. So this first phrase, and it's followed by starting D3 going up the G scale. All right, let's put together the second quarter. In case you don't know or haven't noticed, there's left-hand fingerings in the comments field below. All right, so one more time on the second quarter. And now the whole first half. And now we'll do the pickup to the A part, which is low 2, 3 on E. Okay, so that'll come in on beat 4. I'm just gonna do it. Listen to it if you're unsure, and then rewind and practice it with me. 1, 2, 3. And then this pickup will also be the pickup for the third quarter. So we're going to just jump to the third quarter now, and we'll add the pickup later. All right. So the third quarter is a lot like the first. I'm just going to play it and listen to it and see if you hear the similarities. So the second half of that third quarter is the same as the second half of the first quarter, which you're an expert at now because you looped on it before with me. All right, so we got to get the first half, and that is, let's break that down. E, 4, low 2, 4, and then add 3. I think that's a hard little piece. I recommend you take that and kind of practice it on your own. Pause the video and practice it. You can even do a useful way to do that is double notes. And then starting it on the A string. So please pause the video if you're unsure of that technically and practice it right now. Okay, moving on. After that, we do low 2, 3, low 2, open. Putting together this beginning, we have, that's the beginning of the third quarter. And then we do so here's the whole third quarter. One more time. Excellent. And now we're going to finish this A part. The fourth quarter is a lot like the second quarter. But we just end with a long D3, 2 long D3 notes. So it's kind of a simpler version of the second quarter. Here's the fourth quarter again. I'm now going to play the whole second half of the A part. Now I'm going to do the second half of the A part with the pickup. The pickup, remember, is low 2, 3 on E. So just listen, or if you think you got it, join in. Coming in on beat 4, 1, 2, 3. Excellent work, people. Now I'm just going to do the entire A part twice with the pickups. You may want to just listen. Listening is practice too. You may need to practice certain little parts as well. So you may want to rewind or pause or whatever you got to do. So here we go. I'll count in 3. Hey kitty. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. And we go to the B part. Okay, let's just start on the B part. It's going to start open A, going to D2, 3. Long, short, short, and do that twice in a row. All right, that's not too hard, right? And then after that we do this. On A, open 1, open D3. And then on D, 2, 1, open G2. So this whole second phrase, second bar, so the whole first quarter of the A part. Okay, so far so good. Now this first quarter of the, sorry, that was the first quarter of the B part. Just slow down when I talk. Okay, and that's also the third quarter of the B part. So it would be really worth our time and energy and effort to loop on this first quarter of the B part, because then we're already halfway done with the B part. 3, 4. All right. And now we'll do the second quarter. I'm going to play the entire second quarter for you. So it begins with an A major scale. I really think, again, just seeing that the scales are in the tunes makes scales so much more interesting. And you may want to more fully integrate scale practice by doing something like, well, now that you know that, let's just play an A major scale starting G1. I recommend you pause the video and practice that right now, the A major scale. Alright, good. Now we're coming back to this phrase, the second quarter of the B part. And then after that we do D3, 2, 1. So this first phrase is okay. And then after that we just walk up a D major scale. So we have that was the whole second quarter of the B part. Once more. Here's the first half of the B part. 3, 4. Alright, now the pickup to the B part is D2, 3. Comes on beat 4. I'm now just going to do it. I'm going to count you in 3 and we come in on 4. First half of the B part. 1, 2, 3. Excellent work. Now to move on to the third quarter. But guess what? You already know the third quarter because you looped on it with me a little bit earlier. But I'll just play it again anyway. Third quarter of the B part. Fourth quarter is like the second, but it ends a little bit simpler. Similar to the way the same pretty much melody as the fourth quarter of the A part, which was, but we do it lower here in the key of A. Sorry if that's confusing. It's better, maybe just better to play, but I love noticing the kind of connections, the way the patterns repeat, and so I'm now going to add the pickup to the second half of the B part, the second half of the B part with the pickup, slowly. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to just play the entire B part twice through with the pickups. Alright, if you're unsure, just listen. Listening is practice too. 1, 2, 3. So the ending would of the B part would lead to the A like this. 1, 2, 3. All right. So that's it for the tune. The last suggestion I'll give you, there's a lot of eighth note runs or short note runs like da 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 da. And the bowing pattern, one suggested bowing pattern I'll give you is slur 2, separate 2. You can practice it on a D scale like slur 2, separate, separate, slur 2, separate, separate. Now let's go back to the B part, which we were just working on. So if we were to use that bowing pattern there, it would be like. Notice it makes like a hoedown effect, like a long, short, short. It sounds cool faster. And so on. So slur 2, separate 2, one of many options for bowing. You could also just do separate bows. I mean, if you make it sound the tone good, then that sounds good too. All right, well that was a fun lesson. I'm glad you made it to the end of it, and I hope you enjoy this tune for the rest of your life. Okay, so long. Thanks for watching.